Oh my god, your poor dad.
I'm in a fantastic mood.
You
All
are?
right.
That's
I
a
am.
first.
Let's do it. Who's to
All
say?
right, count us in.
Welcome back to Your Poor Dad. You can't choose your sisters, but you can choose your podcast. So thank you for joining us and being the fourth Brant sister.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you. I got nervous and I almost said the first Brant sister.
No one can ever be the first Brant sister because I am the first Brant sister. And I will fight whoever says that.
I guess technically Paige is the first Brant sister because you weren't a sister before Paige came along.
Oh, that's a fact.
We became sisters at the same time.
You guys are tied.
That just blew my mind. That is crazy. If you are the firstborn, you didn't become a sister
Until the
second is born.
That's why it's first the worst, second the best. Because the second is the best that made you a sister. You're welcome.
Okay,
You're
thanks.
welcome. That's crazy.
That's such
It's
a middle
weird that
child thing to do, to like validate themselves.
No, but
Your identity is based on her.
Sure.
okay, true. And it's just crazy. Am I tinny?
You're a little tinny. I think we're all a little tinny.
Okay.
We need a new studio setup. Our dad said that he would build us one. We just have to like get it designed and sent over to him.
I think it's just weird that we've been sisters for the same amount of time.
I know, but like Bailey hasn't been sisters as long as we have.
Right.
Like it's weird that we lived 3 years together by ourselves on this planet without Bailey.
And you probably remember some of it.
I do. I remember when mom was pregnant.
It's so weird.
I remember little glimpses of mom's just like big belly.
You know what's
And I
so
really
weird?
wanted to name her Chubby.
Everyone wanted to name her Chubby because mom got so big.
But I was so young that they literally wrote Chubby on the ornament. And so
Because-
I thought that her name was going to be Chubby. And then when they decided that it was Bailey, I was pissed.
Well, we were all calling her Chubby because we were fat shaming our pregnant mother because mom gained so much weight because all she would do is eat with Kimmy and watch soap operas
Good for her.
and like raise her children, I guess. But like that's kind of the majority of what they were doing.
Wow.
I know, but like what a
crazy.
time to be alive.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any updates going on?
I mean, truly, I don't know where to begin, but really my dogs,
Tell them everything.
I went to the vet yesterday. Tiger, I'm sure you guys have heard. Roman, he's had this little skin rash on his
That's
belly.
why he always wears t-shirts.
Yeah, that's why he wears t-shirts. I thought that allergies were just really bad this year because it really happened when like spring, summer started. And so I thought, outside just kind of kicked up some new little pollen things. So half right because allergies are really bad. So he scratched himself severely, which then caused this bacterial skin infection all over his body. So we have a lot of medicine dealing with that. And then Tiger, he did something, either him or his brother scratched his eye. And because they scratched like his top and bottom eyelid, and he keeps like rubbing it, that got infected. So he has drops for that. He also has allergies. So they both had to get allergy shots. And then they're looking at Tiger's good eye, which is not the good eye anymore. And they're like, he has cataracts.
In one eye, which means
In one eye, which is bad because one, he's really young. And two, apparently dogs are supposed to get cataracts in both eyes at the same time. So they think he has a systemic disease.
nice. Another case of why not to get Frenchies.
Yeah. So $1,000 later at the vet, I got to go back in 2 weeks.
Amazing. Think about like all that, like all those clothes you could have gotten for $1,000.
Well, that's the crazy thing is I spent $1,000 in the blink of an eye and I came home with the same 2 dogs. It's like I didn't even get anything new.
And none of your problems are solved yet.
Yeah, and none of my problems are solved.
No,
yet.
you just get to worry about it.
Yeah.
Now I just have to worry about it. I have to I don't know if you guys really know the personalities of Tiger and Roman, but Tiger he's spunky, to put it nicely. So trying to get drops in his eye 2 times a day. One, he wants to eat the drops because he wants to eat everything. And 2,
He's a little vicious.
He's just a little. I like spunky better.
Sure.
I'd say feisty. That's
But
like kind of in between.
it was really sad because the vets said that when they took Roman to the back to get his blood work done, and they had to do all this like these skin, like what would you call that? Like
They did like a microscopic like slide of his skin.
And when they were doing that, they also trimmed his nails. But they said that he just
You have to grab Roman.
I can't grab them.
grab him.
Come here.
But they said that Roman was just back there and he was just quiet and he kept looking at them like, why are you doing this to me? Can I go back to my mommy? And they brought him back to me and they were just so like sad. They were like, he's really sweet. I was like, I know.
He is such a sweet boy.
And then what they say about Tiger.
And then with Tiger, they said, so we weren't able to clip his nails. We also weren't able to take his blood from his leg. We tried the front leg. That didn't work. We tried the back leg. That didn't work. So we had to take it from his neck.
What did they do? Just stab him in the neck?
Pretty much. And then they tried to trim his nails. And I was like, oh, did he try to bite you? And they were like, no, he was just doing everything he could to escape.
Oh my God.
So
he's such a bad little boy.
he just said, don't touch my feet.
He said, just don't touch me.
So anyways, that was that's really hectic.
That's exciting.
It's really exciting. It's honestly impressive how much money you can spend in seconds.
Wow.
At least you're getting some answers though. Like they're gonna potentially have like
Hopefully.
improved quality of life. Maybe Roman's nipples will go back down to like a normal size. They did kind of like explode these past couple months. So that would be good.
Oh man.
Yeah, as much as I truly would not trade them for the world, I love Frenchies more than anything. That being said, if you do not have any Frenchies and you're thinking about getting a Frenchie,
They're so expensive.
one, please make sure you are so rich and or you're in like a dual income situation because it freaking hurts, you know?
It's a little stab to the bank account.
It's like, oh, I'm starting to save money. No, I'm not.
I was telling Mr. Roberts that you went to the vet and paid so much money, and I was like, yeah, she paid like $1,000. And I was like, I've never paid $1,000 at the vet for Hank. And then I just saw like a flash and I was like, knock on wood.
Oh.
It does make me feel a little better that was with both of them. Like
Yeah.
if I had one, I mean, $500 is still a lot, but
Yeah.
that's a lot more. That's an easier pill to swallow
Right.
than a $1,112.
Well, I just feel so connected to the boys this weekend because I spent so much time over here.
And so did Hank.
I know. And they had a good time together. Aunt B, you would be so proud of your boys.
When I got here, they were like so well behaved. I thought I was gonna have to, intervene, play the referee or whatever. But
Yeah.
they were so good. Okay,
I wish they were well behaved right now.
I know, because it's really annoying when you guys are barking and screeching at each other.
Well,
Ew.
they're probably starting to feel better. Like their antibiotics are probably starting to kick in, and they're like, "Wow, I'm back to my old self."
So this weekend we had our parents in town.
Oh yeah, and you know what we didn't do?
What?
Record with mom.
I know, because mom got too drunk.
Yeah.
I guess we shouldn't out our mother like this on national television, but
National television.
yeah, we had one on. We went to ski shores and we had some drinks and some food, and then we came back here and cooked. And our parents parked, and you know what? They drove down here in an RV.
Yeah.
And they parked in like an RV park.
Yeah.
And that was an experience because it just kind of made everything like a little harder.
Do you think finding the place was the hardest part? Trying to get?
It was the traffic. It was the going back and forth because they were drinking. So they had to Uber and then they had to come back and get their cars. And it was just a whole production. It would be so much easier if they just stayed here. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, you continue.
Well, I was gonna say, but they wanted
the experience, and that was cute.
They wanted to try out the RV, and this really is the best place for them to do it, to work out if there were any problems or issues, then at least they are in Austin.
Yeah.
But it
this
ended
is
up
probably
being
really
fine.
boring and insular.
No,
for
I
you
think
guys.
people really like it.
You do?
And we should definitely post a picture of the RV with
Oh,
mom
yeah.
and dad in front of it.
Okay, we'll have to get that. But yeah, I spent the night here with Hank and it was so much fun. Then we went home and then our AC broke.
Yeah.
So then I had to come back here the next day. It is so hot in Austin right now. It feels like you're truly at that we're on the precipice of this world burning alive. Like it is so hot. It feels like everything around me is going to break. Like nothing can work. It's almost like the exact opposite of the snowstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I truly couldn't stay in my house with Hank because he was just like panting and overheating and I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Well, and as soon as you walk outside, it truly takes your breath away.
It does.
In such a bad way.
You're like it hurts being outside. It's not normal. It's not like, ooh, Palm Springs heat. It's so different. It's like
dense. It's thick.
that being said, I'm getting the fuck out of here next week.
Where are you going?
Honey, I'm going to San Diego. So my boyfriend, Mr. Roberts, he said, fuck this heat, and he rented an Airbnb in San Diego for 6 weeks. So
Did you say Mr. Roberts' real name earlier?
no, I said Mr. Roberts.
Oh, okay. I thought when you were talking, we were talking about the vet bills.
No, I said Mr. Roberts.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're going out there for San Diego for 4th of July, and then I'm going to be coming back to see Blink-182 with my sister, and then I'm going to be going back to San Diego. But talking about, we should probably get into your updates, and then I have to talk about everything that's going on in the world right now. So
Now.
you were in,
Okay.
yeah, so you go now.
Okay, so
It's
now
your
I
turn.
go.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say that my favorite part of your guys' weekend with mom and dad was when you texted dad or the family group text
Oh my
asking
God.
for the address. And dad said 67. And you were like, okay, but what? And he's like, go turn in. Go further. The gate code is this. And then we're Watt 67, blah, 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 whatever. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, but what is the address?
Like, I
And
don't
he was
know
like,
where you are to-
67. I was crying laughing.
But he doesn't even understand like why that like didn't make sense.
And then,
doesn't know what an address is, I guess.
later on, when we were talking about it, he pretended like he did it on purpose and that he knew
he
that it was
didn't.
funny. I'm like, no, you did not.
There's zero chance. But the reason I thought that was so funny from afar was because I was in New Jersey reading that and just chuckling. I had a lot of FOMO because I thought you guys were having so much fun, but I kind of think that I had a better weekend than you guys. Not that it's
that's
a
good.
competition.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had really good weather. I was in New Jersey and then we went to Long Island for a wedding, me and Styx. And it was like the most idyllic weekend of all time. It was
Why?
so we went and we stayed at a little bed and breakfast.
A B&B?
A B&B. It was called the Sunny Side Up Bed and Breakfast.
That's so Bailey.
Adorable.
That's like such a Bailey thing to do.
They had
a Bailey and Sticks thing to do.
Yeah.
They had their own chickens on the property. Every morning they made us breakfast.
Did they have chicken breast?
No, they had eggs.
Oh, that would be awkward if you guys were like, these are our chickens.
I mean, I would eat it, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like it felt so orchestrated because it was so perfect. The weather was amazing. One of the days we walked to a winery and it was so pretty. The wine was so good. We're walking back, or while we're there, Styx, his karaoke song came on. And I was like, they're listening to us. They know that this is only for us. We're
What's
the only
his
people.
karaoke song?
Italian restaurant.
No, I'm moving out.
Oh, moving out, moving on, or something.
No. Mama, if that's moving up, then I'm
Moving out.
Moving out.
Who sings it?
Billy Joel.
Okay.
Billy Joel.
I was like, oh my God, they're listening. Then Miley and Lady Gaga came on. So I was like, this is suspicious.
Just Kismet.
We're walking back and Styx says, oh my gosh, the only thing that would be better is if they had bikes at the Airbnb for us to ride around so we can like explore the town. We walk back and there's 2 bikes sitting on the porch.
Wow. You were like in an episode of Black Mirror.
It was like that or the Truman Show. It was so
you were in the Truman Show.
bizarre.
Crazy.
But then we went to the wedding. It was phenomenal. Great night. It did rain during the ceremony, so I do think it might have been real. But that was the only thing that made it not feel like
A TV show?
orchestrated.
You're
Yeah.
kind of freaking me out. Like, I feel like you're in like a simulation.
I think she was
100%.
She
It was
also
so weird.
She also said the reason she knows for a fact she was in a simulation is because she did not see any dogs.
There are
What?
0 dogs on all of Long Island. It was
Convince her otherwise.
You guys,
prove
we
it
need
to
the
me.
sisters to fact check. If you've seen a dog on Long Island, then please write in and let us know.
especially in the North Fork area. That's where we really were.
North Fork.
I told Six, I was like, let's just go to as many wineries as it takes to find a good dog. I said that there's 0 dogs. I was looking for them. There's no dogs there.
That's
because,
so
you know,
sad.
you don't film with babies or dogs.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I know that was, I was on a TV show.
Bailey, you're not wrong.
I think I was punked.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had a good weekend though.
You know who didn't have a good weekend?
Oh no, the people on the submarine. Jesus Christ.
Okay, that was a really, really bad joke.
You should keep it.
Okay. I was like thinking like, oh fuck, I need to take that out. I don't know about you guys, but I truly cannot get this submersible out of my motherfucking head.
Neither
it is
can I.
consuming my thoughts.
I know because it is crazy. The ocean is terrifying.
Okay, there's 2 sides to this. First of all, the ocean in itself is just so fucking scary and terrifying, and the deeper you go in the ocean, the scarier obviously it gets, because we don't know what the fuck is going down there, because we're not supposed to be down there, because the atmospheric pressure down there is just too intense for a human body. And then there's the side of like, how the fuck did he convince these people to get in this jerry-rigged
Do you want to know
thing?
what I was comparing it to?
What?
So in our family, it's like, you know how dad makes his own like potato launchers?
Yes.
Like if dad was a billionaire, he would create his own submarine. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
No.
yeah, it's like it's not a federal thing. Like someone's just like, I could do
That's
that.
why it's called a submersible, because it's not even considered a submarine.
Yeah, I know. But
Because people were like, no, you should not go down that far in the ocean in this thing. Like, this thing is not meant for that. It's insane. So if you guys haven't been following the story, like, do you live under a rock? Like, I truly don't know how you could miss it. But this billionaire guy made this, I don't even know what it literally looks like. What would you call that? Like, I don't know why.
Johnson.
It looks like
It's
something.
like the scene from Austin Powers.
Yes. It looks just like a white tube. It looks like something that is not equipped to go 12,000 feet underwater.
Because nothing is.
Because
Yet.
really nothing is supposed to go that low underwater. Like, even like Navy submarines like can go like not even like a third of the way down that this thing can go down. But side note, I was doing some research, and James Cameron has been to the Titanic 30.
Jim.
What?
Jim Cameron.
It's James Cameron. James Cameron, look it up.
The director of the Titanic?
Yeah, James Cameron.
You want to bet?
Yes, I'll bet you $1,000. You can't afford.
Okay, but the guy from the
can't
Titanic was
afford that
talking
for us.
about, he kept saying Jim.
Because Jim is a nickname for James.
Okay, so then, we're both right.
No, his name is James Cameron. If you look up the director of the Titanic, it's James Cameron.
It's like
Okay,
Sandra
then-
Bullock and Sandy Bullock. People actually know her call her Sandy.
Literally Google it.
Bill Paxton was talking. Did you know everyone ate like LSD clam chowder? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Ew.
Well, I just found out about it on TikTok.
Okay, so anyways, Jim Cameron.
Jimbo Cameron.
He went to the Titanic 33 times. And I don't...
How?
In an actual like submarine. But there's only other...
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I know. There's only one other person. One person has been to the Titanic more than James Cameron, I think, and they've been 35 times.
Was it Rose?
No, it was some other fucking scientist who should be down there. Like, why is James Cameron down there?
Okay, so then why is everyone? Because everything I've been seeing is like, it's not supposed. You're not supposed to be able to be in something that goes this low, or if you can be in something, you can control it, but not actually be in it. Like,
I think like part of, well, I don't know. I think this was like in the movie maybe, but like you could get down a certain depth, and then they like have something else that goes down to like the actual Titanic. I could be wrong. I don't really know the logistics, but I just Googled how many times has James Cameron been to the Titanic, and they said 33 times. One time he was stuck down there for 16 hours. So I think that like submersibles and submarines can get down there, but it's just few and far between. And I think the main thing is like this one should not have gone down there.
Well, yeah, and I heard that there were some trips that this exact submersible like made it, and some that it didn't.
Yeah, and some like they would literally get 40 feet down, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta abort the mission."
Yeah,
and they still paid $250,000 to do that.
Well, I just don't if there's not a 100% success rate, it's like I'm not going to pay that much money to just go down.
They're
kind of
thrill
far.
seekers.
Well, yeah, and because there's not like windows.
There's one window.
So, but it's like it's not like it's even something to look at, you know, an adventure like while you're going down.
But think about it, you have so much money. You've seen the Grand Canyon, you've seen the fucking like all the 8 wonders of the world. You're like, what else could I see? See, I couldn't name another 8 wonder. That's why Bailey's laughing. You've seen the Grand Canyon, you've seen all the other ones. Now what do? You go see the Titanic wreckage.
What?
Are there 8 wonders?
I thought it was
I thought there were
7.
7.
Oh yeah, 7 wonders.
Okay, yeah.
We are
I
smart.
wasn't going to say anything.
Because people say the 8th wonder of the world.
Okay.
Oh.
So this is the 8th wonder of the world, the Titanic sinking.
Oh.
This is just crazy.
It's truly so insane, and right now they're still looking for them, but I think their like air is kind of run out. But you know the really fucked up part that's gonna make you guys want to cry?
What?
They have heard banging noises in the ocean.
Okay, I don't understand how they can locate a specific area to drown out all the other noises to be able to,
but they can't find it.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how that works.
The sonar that they use to hear that banging came from like some kind of like aircraft, right? Make that make sense.
I have no idea what you
I
just said.
cannot understand the science behind
But
that.
okay, make it make sense. You can hear banging from somewhere in the ocean,
And it has to be a certain radius.
right? But you can't find that thing, and you can't get down to the bottom of the ocean. Like, why can't we get down to the bottom of the ocean, but we can get to the moon? Supposedly.
Well, that's
We
a
don't
different
know.
question.
And you know what? Then it gets me down this other track. I'm like, wait, why haven't we been to the moon in a long time? Like, when is the next time?
Because they're hanging out on Mars.
No, but like if we can, like, why don't we like establish ourselves like on the moon, like getting our footing there before we go to Mars?
I don't think
Because
there's
there's,
any
like-
reason to get our footing there. First of all, you can't. Less gravity there. Second of all, it's like, what? We're just going to go and kick rocks? Like, why are we going to spend all that money to go there?
I guess
Again,
you're right.
allegedly.
Like, there's
Allegedly.
There's not like an environment there.
I just
bet
feel
we
like
didn't
but
go to the
Paige, the scientists, their whole lives, like there's so much they can study on the moon. But like, why haven't we been? When's the last time we've been there? Like 1967, 1969, right?
Yeah. What is it going to be? This rock or this rock?
No,
This crater
think about
or
it.
that?
Like, if you're a scientist, like there's I don't know what they can fucking study. I'm sure there's like shit that they can study there.
Probably. Here's the thing. None of us work at NASA, probably for a good reason.
Yeah, no shit. Because
Thank
you're
God.
like, we've been to the moon, like we're done. Like, think
No,
about
because it's like we've been to the moon, and then they go to Mars. They're like, hey, there's a chance we could have
I
some
think we
life.
can't go to the Mars.
Actually,
We
I
can't
think
go to
it's
Mars.
More like
I thought
we pulled off a good magic trick, and now people are like, okay, do it again. It's like, no, we're not going to do it again. We already did it. Like,
Here's the thing about
But that's
space.
like, shouldn't that be what we did with the Titanic? Okay, we reached it, and now we should like leave it alone because it's so hard to get there.
Well, and isn't it disintegrating?
It's just, this is the fucked up thing. They have found that there is a metal eating bacteria that is completely deteriorating the Titanic.
whoa.
So it's like, here's the other thing. One, you're paying all this money to go down on a janky little thing that somebody made using, and they control it with a little PlayStation controller. Two, so let's say
Literally, that's a fact.
So let's say you get down there, okay? There's one tiny little window, so you're not really looking at the Titanic through this little window. There's like a camera, like there's a screen you're still looking at it from.
Yeah.
And then 3, what are you looking at if it's that disintegrated?
So there also, well, you could still see the whole of the boat because like, so when the Titanic broke, that broke off into 2 pieces, and one basically completely just like obliterated into pieces, and then the front half where Jack and Rose were, you know, doing,
Where she like, you know, ended up getting off of that and stealing the whole door.
You know.
no,
Jade's talking about the scene
The
where it's,
scene
I'm on top
where
of the
they-
world.
Oh.
yeah, where they are, I'm on top of the world, and then that whole area is still intact. You know what is also really fucking crazy is that people who have explored the Titanic they've said that there's menus down there, there's champagne bottles, there's like things intact that like should not be intact.
Okay, so if you're a billionaire, don't you think you'd rather, well, I think I would rather have a little robot go down there, grab me a bottle of champagne and be like, this is my $2 billion bottle of champagne that I'm gonna keep as a little knickknack.
I don't fucking know. All I know is that this is one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
It is really sad.
I just don't understand how it has disappeared. I will
Well,
never
Paige,
understand that.
Literal planes disappear in the ocean. The ocean is.
I don't
it's
understand
not-
that either.
But it's not for us. It is for the
It's
animals.
not for me, that's for sure.
No, it's for none of us.
It's
not,
for the orcas.
No, it's for other things. Like
It's for big things that we don't need to know about.
Yeah, like we should stay away from the ocean. We are land dwellers. It's fucked up. I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but to go on to that, the orcas are fucking taking over this planet, and they've had it with us. They're like,
you know what? It's their time.
It is their time. They're like, look what you've done with this place. Like, you guys are out of fucking hand. There's one white, Gladys is her name. It's a female orca. And apparently she had this like traumatic injury to a boat, and she learned how to fuck up the rudders on boats. So she's now teaching all the other orcas to attack boats. So everyone thinks like this boat just like it. So it's like, you got to think of like what happened to White Gladys.
Okay, but also
Because she's so pissed. These whales will not stop attacking boats.
okay, but so I saw a TikTok. Stop me if you've seen this one. Of this, she is a shark scientist, and she said if she could go back, she would have became an orca scientist because they are just fascinating. But she was like, it's crazy because I don't remember the dates, but it's like for a really long time, the way we humans perceived orcas was we were terrified of them. Like they were sea monsters. Like they were insane. And then our perception of them changed because of SeaWorld, right? And then it's like, okay, these creatures are so like beautiful and they're friendly and they're so smart. And she's like, they are so smart, but like they are like scary smart. Mm-hmm. And she's like, and now it's kind of the perception of them is kind of switched back to like the scary. She's like, they've always been these, you know,
they're
scary
killer
things.
whales.
Yeah. And she's like, we just saw them at SeaWorld doing these tricks, you know? Mm-hmm. And so we thought, oh my gosh, Shamu, like we love them. I'm like, that is true. Like we let our guard down.
Yeah, we let our guard down with nature. And then we tried to trap it, and look, they're done. And it's crazy because there's orca shit happening all over the world.
Yeah.
Like it's not just because it's happening a lot in the Strait of the Strait of Gibraltar. Jesus Christ, it's a fucking weird word to say. Gibraltar. And then it's also happening in like the Pacific Northwest. Like the orcas are done.
Well, they can travel very far, and also I think they can communicate like 100 miles apart, like one little pod.
Telephone.
How does she know that?
Because she's a teacher. They have to know shit like that.
You're really smart.
Well, I mean, fact check me, guys. Let me know if I'm stupid or something. But think about also how much more surface area animals like that can travel than we can.
Yeah.
Like we invented planes, I guess. I helped. And so we can go like comfortably like 10,000 feet above.
What's it called? Feet.
Miles, feet, whatever. But like they can do that by themselves, and they've been here longer. I think that it's just their time. They're gonna swallow the land back up, and they're just gonna
reclaim the ocean back to be their own.
Okay, but also, did you know, I did not know this, that orcas a lot of sharks were showing up dead, and the orcas would only eat out their liver. So they knew exactly where, and it looked like a dissection. They would find the shark and just like perfectly like snatch out their liver, and then the shark would eventually die. But like all these sharks were like coming out with like this one chunk of them, and they just wanted them for the liver. That's insane.
They're maniacal. They also were wearing salmon hats. They were putting salmon on their head and wearing them around.
Wait, and what do you mean?
And then they would see other orcas doing it. It's like they're sending a message. I'm serious. Like the orcas they're not fucking around with us.
Whoa.
How many boats that it's like 20 boat attacks in a month. Like, it's almost like, how can you even get through this place without getting attacked by the orcas? And it's like, it's crazy. They're coming up and then they're just going down. They're like literally coming towards your ship. People were like filming it on the iPhone, and it was on Vice News, and Vice News is like very like reputable.
That makes me really scared for the orcas, though, because if there's one thing
I think
the human species knows how to do, it's to just obliterate a whole species of things.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to kill like 8 orcas attacking a ship. But I mean, I guess like if you're the U.S. Army, but like then again, why would the Army or Navy or whatever go against the orcas?
I mean, if they're sinking all the ships, it's going to become a sea battle.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, I have one more piece of news. I started a new segment on my Instagram yesterday that everyone really liked, and it was called Jaded News. And today we have a really strange one. Okay, so this actually has to do with the Stephen F. Austin bowling team, and it's really getting did you hear?
I heard. I don't know the details.
It is truly insane, because at first you hear it and you're like, okay, Stephen F. Austin, a college bowling team, lame. Then you hear like the husband and wife are coach and assistant coach, and what do you think happens there? The husband is hooking up with one of the students. Very lame.
The husband is the assistant coach, by the way.
It gets deeper. Okay, so because this guy is such a fucking idiot. So at the Stephen F. Austin College, which is in Nacogdoches, this woman was the head coach. Her name was Amber Lemke, and she was the head coach. And so the husband had to stay back, and what do you think he had to do? Raise their fucking children. And then he was okay, so sorry, I'm like telling the story. This story gets me so heated, so it's hard to like stay on track. So he was caught with this student, and here's what he has to say about that. I knew it was kind of a no-no, but there's not a rule saying it can't happen. There's not a law saying I'm going to jail for doing something like this. There's nothing in stone. I guess it's just an ethics code, like we frown upon it, but there's no rule. There's no law broken. This is what he has to say for that. And when they asked like what was on the text messages, so she was going through his phone, found text messages from him and this student. And what was on the text messages, you might ask?
Oh my God.
It didn't have anything in detail. It was just about how amazing I am, basically, in general perspective. Amber saw that and questioned me. And I got to the point where it just built up so much that I basically told her the truth after she dug through my phone. I basically told her the truth after she dug through my phone. No, wait. She just found out what you were fucking doing, and like you couldn't deny it.
And as if... And basically just about like how amazing I am.
What were the texts about? Oh, pretty much just how amazing I am.
What a fucking loser.
Like he can't get respect from his like wife because he's probably like
a loser.
So she's like, I'm not going to tell you you're amazing because you're like not being amazing.
Or he has so much of an inferiority complex that his wife is a head coach and he has to be a stay-at-home husband, or not even stay at home. You know, he just has to raise the kids and he can't handle that.
Well, this is what he said. Another quote. These are all quotes. I was the stay-at-home dad for 5 years with the kids while Amber got to go off and coach the team. And when she'd get back, I'd run practices on top of taking care of the kids while she was back. So he's saying, I was a stay-at-home dad for 5 years while she got to go off and coach. You mean she was going off and furthering her career and providing for your family, and you were raising the children
for 5 years, though.
For 5 years.
For only 5 years. Do you know how long mom raised us while dad was like working?
Well, dad got to go off.
Yeah, well, dad got to go off and work overtime.
And this is what he said. It gets worse. When they'd travel again, I would sit back and take care of the kids. Then when I got hired on, she almost forced me to run practices. So when he got hired, she forced him to do his job. When he got hired
to be an assistant coach, she forced him to be a coach.
God, could you imagine what she forced him to do as a parent? Like, hey, they need a bath every night. Are you going to do that? Like, you need to pack their lunches.
You need to teach them how to brush their teeth.
Yeah, she forced him to do that, I'm sure.
I was a volunteer the entire time before that trying to help out Amber. You mean trying to help out your wife? Once I got hired on, one thing stemmed from another. I felt like I was doing too much for what I was being valued at. So basically,
once you were finally being paid and you actually had real expectations.
So this guy basically just got like a front row seat of what it's like to be a working woman and mom in America. So this was just really hilarious to me that this person, like, it's like so I don't even know. Is it the like expectation or the
audacity? The
audacity. He just expects everything.
The ignorance.
What's the word? It's like expecting entitlement. The entitlement of like him being like I feel like most women wouldn't feel like this. Like it's like you don't feel entitled to like you're forcing me to run practices. You mean you're forcing me to do my job?
Yeah, this is great. We're helping each other be successful.
I feel like I was doing too much for what I was being valued at. Said no woman ever. Like, we're always like, no, we're not doing enough.
Or like, hey, do you think I could actually get paid as much as that guy who we're doing the same exact job at? Or
exactly. Like what? So that was just another thing. But do you guys want to do some listener stories?
Oh my God, would I ever?
Would I ever?
That just reminds me, the other day there was a guy, I dropped someone off at the airport, and I don't remember who it was, and I was like getting in, and like I was in the correct lane, the normal lane that does not need to merge, and this other car needed to merge. Not my problem. I'm just driving. This car, I can tell, gets so heated. It's driving up right next to me, and I just keep my speed, being normal, and then he has to brake so he can go behind me, and then he gets all the way around me once we're on the highway. He honks, he flips me off, and it was just, I mean, can you guess what kind of person it was?
A man.
A white man in a little Toyota Corolla, and he had so much anger in his body, and he said, how dare she not brake so I can get on the ramp when I want to get on the ramp? And you could tell in his little shoulders, he was so
his little shoulders.
He was so mad, and I was like, whoa, I ruined that guy's day by driving the right way. I didn't even do anything wrong. Psychopath.
That was like when the guy knocked on my window and then was so offended that I rolled down my window and I said yes. And he said, and he's trying to get in his car. And I said, oh, excuse me, do you need something? You tapped on my window. And he said, you parked too close. And I said, well, maybe if you park straight next time, it wouldn't seem so close. And he said, oh, you bitch. And you know what?
I sense an accent.
He did have an accent. He did have an accent, but he was just...
She's turning red.
He was just pissed.
It just men. Okay, just anyway. Men. This one is an advice, and it was also my maybe favorite email. Okay. It says, hello, girls, and happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Love the shout out from Jade for Olivia in London from TikTok a few episodes ago, especially during Pride Month.
Oh my gosh.
Bailey and Paige, you have to follow them.
They're so freaking cute.
Okay.
Wait, side note, I saw this TikTok the other day of this woman who is with her mom, and I think they're both gay, And so she was showing her mom like lesbians from the internet, and they're like, okay, I'm going to show you all these pictures and you have to guess if they're gay or not. So she was like going through all their pictures, and she was looking at Olivia's pictures, and Olivia like looks so straight, but like she had some things like, she's like, oh, that hat is so straight. But she's like, that purse is really gay because it's low. And like the stuff that she was saying was just so funny. And then so at the end, she shows her like 5 or 6 pictures. At the end of it, she like has to guess. And she was like, oh, this person's so straight. This is the straightest person ever. She's like, no, she's gay. She goes, oh, that's lipstick. Like she was just like, it was just so fucking funny. But anyways.
That's cute. Okay. Jade, I'm also obsessed. And as a queer woman, their wedding will seriously be the royal wedding for me. I'm a longtime sister and love listening to y'all gab. I don't have sisters, so I'd appreciate some advice.
Okay.
My girlfriend and I are currently doing long distance, and we're considering trying to move to be closer together in the next year or so. We've been dating for a year, with about 75% of that being distance, but she travels for work, so we typically see each other about once a month. Bailey, I know that you and Styx did long distance before he moved to Austin. What was it like having the conversation about him moving to Austin, and how has it been transitioning from long distance relationship to a no distance relationship? Distance makes each moment we spend together so special and exciting because we're looking forward to it for weeks, and I'm nervous about losing that spark. I know y'all had your long distance sitches at Colorado, at Kansas City, so would love y'all's advice about approaching those conversations and knowing when it's right to take that next step. Obsessed with y'all, and shout out to all the stepsisters I've converted.
Nice.
Thank you.
First of all, we are so cool that we have a queer sister.
Oh my God.
I love it.
So cool.
Yeah. So maybe we could get maybe you could, well, I don't know if that's like politically correct to say, but I would like a more queer representation of listeners. So
Yeah.
Because I'm an ally.
Sounds like
Ally.
it sounds like she's doing the work. You know, she's already made a lot of stepsisters.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bailey, do you want to start this one?
Yes. So really the only conversation that Styx and I had before he moved was that I said that I wasn't going to move to New York, and that also I didn't want to continue to be in a long distance relationship.
That's the only conversation you had before he moved out here?
I mean, we talked
So
very frequently,
what
but
she's
it was
saying
never
is-
like up in the air about if I was going to move there, if he was going to move here, what it's going to look like for our jobs, because my job was very much in Austin and he works remote. So it made a lot more sense for him to be the one to move here. But we didn't talk about the logistics of how our relationship was going to change once we were in the same city.
Okay, well, is she moving to them?
Well, she's asking how this conversation even gets brought up. And so I think
okay.
I think what Bailey is saying, which is a really important piece, is what do you need or want it to look like for you, and what are you willing to do? So for Bailey, she was not willing to move out of Texas, out of Austin, because of her job. And so that was step one. She had to communicate that with Styx. And then from there, he was open to moving to Austin. Mm-hmm. So I think communication is key, and also figuring out like, who are you willing to move? Are you not willing to move? Are they willing to move for you? That's, I think, step one is which makes the most sense.
If you're willing to live together, or you're just going to live in the same city so you can hang out more often, or what?
Yeah. I don't know how old she is, but my suggestion would be to maybe like try to get your own places at first. Mm-hmm. Because I think that like you guys she needs to get, you or her, whoever you're moving, need to get your own footing in the city, so it kind of like feels like your city and you're not just like moving into somebody else's life.
And I do think that with Styx, he'd only been to Austin twice before, so he moved in with us for a month and a half, 2 months maybe, but we always knew that was temporary. He was going to live with us for a short amount of time until he got to know Austin and figure out exactly which part of town he wanted to live in. And I think that was also probably, I don't want to speak for your relationship, but probably exciting. It's like exciting enough to be living together. We've had this long distance relationship. This is fun. But then also that's short-lived while you guys are living separately, and then figuring out what your relationship looks like as a couple in the same city.
Yeah, that was the biggest adjustment that we had to make, was what it was going to be like when we're together in the same town. How frequently is like normal for us to expect to hang out with each other? How much of our time we're willing to give towards, not like, okay, for instance, I started a new job right when Styx moved here. And in his mind, he's thinking, well, I just moved here, so we're going to hang out all the time. This is going to be so great. And on my end, I was stretched so thin. And so we had to have like very serious conversations about how many days we could spend together, how many nights are going to be date nights versus just hanging out or whatever. So that was good to figure out once we were here, but it would have been even better to consider beforehand. And if that is good, but if your girlfriend travels a lot, then I think that's going to be a easier transition.
100%.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I think you guys killed it.
Cool.
My long distance relationship didn't work out, so
Neither did mine.
I would say like maybe if it ends after a week, like at least you just rip that Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I really think that there's no such thing as over communication in this situation.
I completely agree.
Okay, great.
Good luck, and let us know how it goes.
Good luck. Okay, we've been asking for high school rivals. Should I read one?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, this actually ties into something Jade was just talking about on TikTok.
Toxic moms.
Maybe.
Which you guys never responded to me when I sent you that.
Oh, because it was a little scary.
I know. So I
No, I think I was doing something.
I posted a TikTok talking about this toxic mom in our life. And
not our mom.
It wasn't our mom, but it was a mom that we were very close with. Okay. And at the end of it, I mouthed, and then that mom became and so because the mom really was a prevert, yeah. And everyone's like, okay, I'm gonna need a story time, but like I really can't tell that story because I was not involved literally at all, and I just don't think it's like fair to do for that.
I was like kind of involved.
Well,
I wasn't involved.
you weren't involved.
No, I wasn't involved, but I was around.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know. I'm still like, I just don't want to like capitalize off of someone else's like potential trauma.
Yeah,
Same.
it's not our story.
It's not our story to tell. And it's like, and I also,
It's just
like,
crazy that it was a story we heard.
I know. And it was like so like adjacent to our world. Like it was just like, how can this happen from somebody we know? And also, I kind of feel bad about the toxic mom's daughter, who was kind of like a problematic person, I think, in my life and like a lot of my friends' lives. And so I kind of feel bad, like, even though she was problematic, I feel bad like putting her on blast. Like,
yeah,
she didn't choose the prevert life. Like, her mom chose the prevert life.
Yeah,
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
Why?
All right, let's move it along then.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
I'm obsessed with the podcast. I'm the
Good.
youngest of 4 girls, so I love the vibe of this.
Thank you.
We always hear, "Aw, your poor dad." You guys make me truly laugh out loud when I listen. It always puts me in the best mood, making me want to go have a beer with my sisters and tell them everything you guys talked about.
Hell yeah.
I'm a little late to the party, but when I heard you wanted stories of high school rivals, I had to share this. I'm from a very small high school in town. So small that my high school didn't have some extracurriculars, so me and a few of my classmates had to go to our rival school every day for class and meetings. We got along with almost everyone until I started dating someone from that school that was in our chapter who had a girl best friend. Red flag number 1.
Red motherfucking flag.
We can call him Chad and her Rachel. Being that there was such a small amount of people in both towns, I knew Rachel very well. When she found out we were dating, she sent a paragraph basically saying how she is okay that I was dating Chad, but I better not hurt him or care that they hang out. I blew it off and said, whatever, yeah, sure, I don't care. Little did I know that Rachel knew about every single argument we had and started messaging me each time to talk for him. I started to get fed up with the situation and just how the relationship was in general. Fast forward, we break up. She isn't happy about it because it's my fault, of course. Her mom is on the school board, and she's my mom's best friend also. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Her mom's on the school board, and my mom's best friend is also on the school board.
Oh, got it.
I think. Okay, Rachel wanted Chad and did not want him to try and get me back. So bad that her mom brought me up at the school board meeting. She said that I was the reason Rachel had such a hard time concentrating at school and made her so upset because of my relationship with Chad. Rachel's mom wanted the rest of the school board to think about not allowing me to attend that school for the extracurricular.
I know where Rachel gets it.
That obviously never happened. Fast forward again that summer, we end up at the same party. Rachel hugs me crying, saying she is so sorry for getting in the middle of Chad and my relationship, and said I need to give him another chance because I was the love of his life at age 16. We never got back together. For the remainder of high school, at every rival sporting event that Chad and I were a part of, both school student sections would chant our names at one another.
Oh my God.
Wait, that's hilarious.
For example, serving a volleyball or being at the free throw line.
Got it.
If that's not small town rivals, I don't know what
Honey,
is.
ain't it?
Can you imagine being about to like serve your volleyball and they're just like, Chad.
Okay, I can totally, when she said that, now we know how big of a deal it is.
Yeah.
Because it also in high school, everything seems like so much of a bigger deal. Like, I'm sure, like, that already shocked me as an adult 34-year-old woman. But can you imagine, like, Rachel being so involved in your life?
And Rachel's mom bringing it up at the fucking school board meeting.
That is so inappropriate.
That's so Keller.
And everyone else is probably just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, like, they're like, you're a mom.
And they're like, on to the next topic. That's fucking weird.
Everyone's like, should we increase budgets for philanthropy or?
Well, it's a small town, so I bet it's like, so on to the next topic. Cindy, I heard you're going to make your pecan pie next week. Is that going to be the case? Should I put you down for the pecan pie?
I just cannot believe how Rachel, first of all, I keep wanting to call her Raquel.
Well, call her what you want.
Call it what you want. Yeah, call it.
She probably goes by Raquel now.
I know, because she
She's
went
the
by,
type.
because her name was Raquel, but then she told everyone her name was Rachel.
Yeah.
It was like opposite. That is such a wild story. I love those little stories.
I just could not imagine if our mother was ever on a school board and if she ever mentioned my name or my like a frenemy's name, I would be mortified. And
Okay.
Rachel's probably like, Mom, can you bring this up at the next school board meeting?
Like, Rachel had no shame. She was literally getting involved in their relationship. She found out that they were together and she's like, hey, just want to let you know I'm cool with it. Cool. Nobody you don't
honestly,
need to be cool with it.
It sounds like you're cool with it.
You're like, you should be cool with it because it has nothing to fucking do with you.
You sound super cool. Cool as a cucumber.
Honestly, if you were cool, Rachel, you wouldn't have said shit.
Like, you don't.
Now I think you're really not cool with it.
We need to do an episode on like how to just be like a girl's girl, not even a girl's girl, just like a chill,
a normal girl.
human being. First of all, you don't text. You stay out of your friends' relationships, men or women, straight or gay. Stay the fuck out of their relationship. Your one priority is your friend. It is not to get involved with the other person, unless the only time you can be friends with them is just to purely be friends. And if that person starts bitching about their relationship, stay out of it, Paige.
Exactly.
And the only time you're supposed to offer advice is if someone says, hey, I'd really love your opinion about this situation that I'm in.
And
Or-
if your guy friend is saying, hey, can you please text her for me? No.
No.
I can help you with what you need to say, but you need to find the cojones and you need to text her yourself.
And you have to remain as neutral. This is one thing that I wish I could go back and tell myself. You have to remain as neutral as possible because it's really none of your fucking business. And why are you getting so riled up about somebody else's relationship? That should not rile you up at all.
Yeah.
Rachel's a dumb bitch.
I really would love to know, what is Rachel doing right now today?
I know, me
Rachel,
too.
are you listening? Are you a listener? Please,
What if Rachel's a sister?
if you're a sister, like,
Then we have a couple words of advice.
I feel like we need to do like an episode about this kind of thing where girls are just like the opposite. Like, you could be like an ally to women and you just take like a sharp right turn and it's all over a man. Like, okay, so the other day,
Raquel.
like Raquel, literally. I just think there's a lot of women that I hear, especially when I was younger, and they're like, I just don't get along with girls. I only get along with boys. It's like, yeah, because boys can get along with literally anything. They're fucking stupid. Like, it's really not hard to get along with women. You just have to like not know a couple of rules of like how to navigate. Like, for instance, okay, so I was at the this market with Mr. Roberts the other day, and this girl came up and she's like, oh my gosh, I know you. And he was like, oh yeah, I know you. And he was like, oh, this is my girlfriend, Jade. And I was like, hi. And she's like, we know each other through work things.
And that's a cool girl.
Exactly. Like, she did not have to tell me that, because he, first of all, I trust him, and he would have told me that after. But like,
It's just like a cool statement to
it was just like a cool like thing, like, hey, you're probably wondering how we know each other right now. We know each other through work things. And I was like, oh, okay. She like
is
it's
aware.
Like we see each other. Like, it's just little things like that just, and I'm sure people are going to be like, well, why do you need to do that? And like find some problem with this, but it's just like common decency.
It's
courtesy and respect for your fellow female friends out there in the world.
Because you know what? You are lucky that you're in a relationship with a Mr. Roberts who is kind and respectful.
Yeah.
And like loyal. Not every girl's like that.
I think that's a better thing, though. It's like kind girl tips, where it's like your example was like messaging your work friend's girlfriend, or being like, hey, give me your girlfriend's number because I'm going to like let her know what I'm wearing to the Christmas party.
This is the attire for the Christmas party.
Which is going above. This girl, she doesn't know if you're wondering where she knows you.
And she doesn't owe me shit, but like she was just being like a respectful human being.
Yeah, I think that's like a good like kind girl tips.
Kind girl tips. Yeah, let's start a new series, kind girl tips.
Yeah.
Because like there's just really nothing better than like women kind of banding together. And like, yes, it's fun like having drama. Of course, I love watching The Housewives, but like when you see bitches band together, like on The Real Housewives of Miami, when have you guys seen that season where this girl's husband is having an affair on her, and she's out of town, and he brings the fucking mistress over to their house, and all these on the show.
Why the fuck would he do that?
Because he's a fucking idiot. And so all these girls who have all this drama together, all these complicated situations, they all banded together, and they were like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get her the fuck out of there. You're not leaving that house, because he was trying to get her out of the house. They're like, no. Like, some of the girls in there were like lawyers, and they were just like helping them, and I was like, this is what I fucking love. Like
this is how we do
I was like, these are my girls. Like, just, it's like, yes, you can all fight and be catty, but when it like really matters, it was like, we've got you, bitch.
Yeah.
So it's like just like the Ariana thing, watching Katie and Sheena put their differences aside to be like, fuck Tom Sandoval. Ariana is like our priority right now.
Well, and the other good thing about, like, I would say that I am a girl's girl. Like when I'm in a new group of people, like I'm gonna gravitate to the girls. I'm not going to tell that story right now, but I'll tell it when we talk about this on like a different episode. But it's like, I'm going to gravitate towards the girls because it's easy and it's important to make relationships with the girls. And it's also the way you know if you're dealing with a bad girl. You know what I mean? Like BB's friend.
Oh.
Like, I tried really hard with that one.
She was Rachel.
And she was like left and right, just like, you know, really like knocking down all of me.
She was the opposite of girl's girl.
Yeah.
Well, can I make a confession?
What?
And also say that Stick said this too. He was like, oh no, I always knew that you were gonna hang out because his two guy friends that we went to the wedding with didn't bring dates. He's like, yeah, you're like, get along with the guys so well, like you're kind of one of the guys. Like, I see you more with, he was saying he didn't say I'm a guy's girl.
No, but it's easy to get along with guys.
Yeah, because it's easy. Yeah, I get along with guys really well too. It's easy to get along with guys.
It's very easy to get along with guys. It's normal for it's normal.
Yeah, it's not like that shouldn't be
it's like the lowest.
It's like
common
baseline.
denominator.
Oh, dude, can you get along with fellow humans? Put you in a pack of guys. Yeah, like it's like not hard.
Yeah.
That's like when I was in Spain with Mr. Roberts and his friends, I was hanging out with all guys most of the time, and I was like, yeah, this is fucking easy. Like, we're talking about the most like dumb shit ever. Or like I'm not talking at all because they're talking about sports and I'm just like zoning out or like on Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like send us maybe like the girl, like good girl, like kind girl things that have happened, or maybe like more Rachel stories, girls who have like turned against you and you're just like, and then we can talk about like how you could maybe like navigate those situations.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bitches.
Also want to know about the toxic moms at like in your high school.
Oh yeah,
life.
if you guys have
That would
toxic
be-
moms in your high school, like please by all means. All right, well,
Yeah.
I think we're good here. We're at an hour.
This is perfect.
So say goodbye to your sisters.
Goodbye,
Tell them where they
sisters.
can
Bye,
find us.
guys.
Tell them what they need to do.
Okay, so you need to write in your stories about toxic moms and these either good girls or
Bad
toxic
girls.
good girls or bad girls at yourpoordad@gmail.com. And you know, while you're on the internet, we would love for you, and you know what, I'm gonna actually ask and require you guys leave us a 5-star review, because you know what, it's not that hard to do and it makes our day. And while you're at it, go ahead and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at yourpoordadpod.
Your dad pod.
It is a requirement to leave us a little review and a thing. Just like it was kind of a requirement for you to pick me up from the airport. It's just a sister obligation where
Exactly,
you don't want to do
exactly.
it. You just got to take the, you know,
All right.
hour out
And
of
you
your
can-
day.
All right, time to go.
Okay. Love you. Bye.